Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Coffee. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan. It is Thursday night. Do you know where your dinosaur is? I know where mine is. He's saying roar right behind me. Also, do you know where your Microsoft assembler is? And after all, the Microsoft question, where do you want to go today? Well, hopefully not do ARM Day with a Microsoft assembler box, although it certainly would give you ARM Day. All right, let's see who we have in the chat. Who probably thinks I'm a funny guy right now. We have Thomas Armstrong, Eep. We have Hardware Hacker says, hey, I eeped first. Why did it disappear? Good question. Hi, Hardware Hacker and Thomas. Let's see here. We have SadMac 356. Hi, SadMac. Yes, Estate Sale Max. They are hiding. They are hiding behind that box. Both of them. Let's see here. We have Francois. Hi, Francois. Watching Adrian Black having fun with an analog PBX. Interesting. We have Gut Bomb. Hi, Jason. Jason says, I made it on time for the beginning, which I guess means Justin is going to be late. Yes, I was running a few minutes late. I had 3 computers to bring downstairs. Yes, but I'm just in time, not late. Yes, and we have Callan. Hi, Callan. And we've got Microsoft trying to butt into the conversation. No, if you won't stay signed into OneDrive, I am not signing into OneDrive. We have Vborg. Hi, Tim. We have, let's see here. And, all right. So I guess we got the Coffee Go link is in the description. We do not have any Wheel of Regrets today. Aw, I know. Package didn't come today. I've got something inbound, which will actually be appropriate for Monday stream. So hopefully it arrives tomorrow or Saturday, because Monday's a postal holiday. I think I've got a second item inbound that I would be surprised if it gets here by Monday. And then, who knows if I will get the video card I am exchanging for the one that didn't work. That will be a mystery. They told me they were going to delist the card I picked and hold it for me, but that auction is still live. Which I guess the good news is they haven't sold it to someone else. The bad news is they told me they were going to hold the card for me, so don't know what's up with that. But the old card was supposed to be delivered, I think, today. I'll have to track it later to see. Thomas Armstrong's asking what everything from eBay worked. Yeah, Hardware Hacker says no regrets. That in itself is a regret. I haven't received anything from eBay since Monday, so yeah, I can't show you an item if I don't have it. However, because I usually like to show when people give me something in a timely manner, unless I get a whole bunch of stuff at once. I know stuff from the swap meet I'm trying to spread out, but I got this item today from one of my coworkers, so I would like to take a quick look at it. I know it's not a Mac, but I want to take a quick look at it because I just got it today. And after he told me, hey, I've got something in my car for you, I remembered, oh yeah, he told me he was going to bring this to me. I just didn't know when he was going to remember it. Oh, cool. Hardware Hacker says, I got my new YouTube Hardware Hacker, quote, neon sign from eBay the other day. Cool. All right, so what do we have? We have, I mean, this could be a regret, not from eBay, but we have the boring beige box. Which, if you're experienced with these, Hardware Hacker says, I'll send it to you on Discord because sharing is caring. Thank you. If you recognize what this beige box might be, you'll know why I want to open it and at least inspect it. But we have an ALR Express computer. It says product of the USA on the bottom. I don't know what era computer it is, other than I do know that it does have all 4 feet stuck to it, but they have kind of done the electric slide off the computer. But yeah, all right, we'll see if I don't think there's anything interesting on the bottom. Other it says product of the USA. We got an FCC ID. Product may be covered by a US patent number. Well, not sure. Hi. KR. KR, I don't know how to read your name, but hello, welcome. Pre-Gateway 2000, I suppose. Gateway 2000 acquired them in the mid to late 1990s. That's okay. All right, so this probably is pre-Gateway. All I know is there's a label on the front that's some sort of accounting code. We have a label on the top, which tells me this was an asset of the University of Virginia Hospitals. And we have a label on the side that seemingly indicates that they bought it from a local computer store, which I don't know if they're still in business. They might be. They might have moved somewhere, but Helen's questioning pronounced. Oh. All right. Well, I'll let the chat settle on the pronunciation. And then we got on the back a key lock switch. That could be interesting. I'm hoping that's just for this panel here. But it looks like it's basically, there's our video. There's our video. Parallel, serial, PS2. Anyways, I don't know what this is. We're going to open it up because there could be a battery in here that I want to remove. Oh, Vborg says, yep, still in business. Okay. They probably, I know where their office used to be. They probably moved. Anyways, yeah. I think I can probably safely say now that the university would be getting their computers through the state IT sourcing department now, so that probably dates when this computer was purchased, in that it kind of looks like the hospital might have bought this computer themselves. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Very nice. I don't have to go hunting for the jumper settings. I think this also... oh, right. This is a 486. Neat. Let me see. Let's get our... Oh, it might have a CMOS battery, so this may be just a quick preview. Uh-oh. When adding RAM to your system, be sure to only use ALR-approved SIMs. Can anyone tell me how to get in contact with Gateway 2000? I heard they acquired ALR. Oh, they're out of business too? Oh, well. I guess when it comes time for it, I'm just going to yoink whatever RAM I want to put in the system. Which actually I may need to put RAM in it before I can use it, because it does look like we have no RAM. Hardware Hacker says it's a 486, but not a 486SX. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but at least we have a ZIF socket. All right, let me see if I can turn this so I can see things. Oh, excellent. We got a coin cell battery. So that is good. No risk of leaking. Hey, this is a PCI system. 66 megahertz. Or is it E-Machines? Yeah. Sadmax says, I think you might need to get in touch with Acer. Acer'd probably tell me to, why don't you buy one of our brand new computers? All right, as I was actually kind of hoping, the hard drive has been removed, so I don't have to worry about there being any patient data on this computer. I do know it was a Caviar 2850, so if I happen to have one of those, we could put the same hard drive that was in here back. All right, we've got, just taking a look at the motherboard, probably a DX266. In fact, I'll risk pulling it out of the socket. Oh, and voiding the warranty. To see that there's no marks on the bottom to tell me what that is. Probably a DX266. Well, I just voided our warranty with ALR. Oh well. But looks like the CPU is in good shape. I'll go ahead and put that in before I forget how that goes in the socket. Actually, it looks like there may be some onboard RAM tucked under the floppy drive. And we've got cache. And we got Cirrus Logic video. It is a CLGD5434. So it quite possibly is on the PCI bus. Looks like we have a probably PCI IDE controller. And I think this is the SIS85C496 single chipset. Single chipset, probably. And if I had to guess, probably 128K of cache. Oh, Gateway continued to use the ALR brand for their servers. Interesting. What's that chip there? Oh, that's another SIS chip. Well, you know, I don't see any reason why we couldn't maybe tempt fate. Because there's no leaking battery. And yeah, let's just why not? All right. Smoke test in because I'm probably too trusting of things. In 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh, hold on. Hold please. My scaler's on the wrong input. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we were on the wrong input. So I saw things were happening and you saw nothing. Sorry about that. I know, probably the world's most boring. All right, let me plug a keyboard in. There we go. We got 4 megabytes of RAM. I'm going to see if we can get into the BIOS. Huh, interesting. I can't get into the BIOS. Let me guess. There may be a jumper on this to disable getting into the BIOS. Alright, see, JP2 is check password. Probably one to check. Where's JP2? JP2 is... Okay, I see JP2. And I can't exactly tell which is pin 1 based on the silk screen. I think it might be I think it may be on bypass. Maybe there is no CMOS setup. Could that be? Could there really be no CMOS setup on this computer? Because it's got jumpers to disable the onboard Super I/O, disable the onboard PCI IDE. We got onboard RAM, which you can disable with the jumper. That is a good question. If I have the keyboard in the right port, I have it in the port that has a keyboard drawn on it. Let me hit enter and see what it tries to do. Oh, okay. It's accepting keyboard input. It is accepting keyboard input. Well, it powers up. Could it be some goofy keyboard combo like Control Alt Shift S to get into CMOS? Shift S? No, I spammed F2, F10, and F12. Guess maybe I could spam all the function keys. No. It's like, I don't think it enables the delete didn't work. I spammed delete. I think this computer may not have a CMOS setup. I mean, is it totally inconceivable that a company would make a product for a healthcare setting where you have no setup to set up? I mean, I could conceivably see that maybe there is no setup on this machine. Is it old enough where you have to run a CMOS setup program out of DOS? Well, it's a 486 system, so I'm going to have to say no, it's not old enough. However, to SadMac's point, ooh, healthcare, that could well be a setup disk. Yeah, if it was healthcare, they could have locked it out. That is quite possible that... Seaborg says it is sort of industrial, so they did weird things to keep people from messing with them. Yep, I have a feeling it's probably been disabled. I'm not going to dump the BIOS tonight. KR says you may have been on the right track looking for a jumper to get you into CMOS or unlock it. Yep, and it may be a jumper that's not overtly documented. Alright, I guess I will do one thing. I was kind of trying to see if I could find a boot device so I could at least maybe boot into something to show that it's booting into something, but... Well, it's a Mac stream, so I'm only going to spend so much time looking for a boot medium. I am looking on the retro web. I want to see if I happen to spot this board on it real quick. Because maybe someone's dumped the manual. And maybe the manual might have directions, but I don't... I'm going to have to... Oh, wait. I can use advanced search. I know what the chipset is. Hold on. I don't have to brute force search this. It's an SIS 496. Well, if I can find it on the list, A5C496. There we go. Let's see if I could... Oh, no results. Press XP2. Alright, well... Alright, hold on. Actually, let me see if there's any motherboards with XP2 in the name. Okay, we have the Ford Leon brand boards, which are not 486s. Also, that's way too close to Food Lion for my sanity. And J-Bond. Nope. I don't think this board is on the retro web. Alright, one last thing. Let me see. ALR. I'm going to search the web for ALR Express XP2. It's asking me, do I mean AliExpress XP2? No, I don't, Google. And I found a couple of websites that sell memory for it. Oh, alright. It looks like there's no information on it. Gutpump says, this is the weirdest Mac I've ever seen. Sadmac says, Gutbomb apparently was a medical thingamabob. Yeah. Tim says 1 frame per hour, yeah. Oh, Sadmac says, I think it would have a crisis if you tried... Oh, to play Crisis. Tim was asking, can it play Crisis? Yes. Yep, this is a PC that my coworker gave me today. I wanted to see what it would do. It's apparently doing a thing. I cannot find a boot disk. They've all run away. They probably knew I was working on Macs tonight. Yeah, I found my... I see where my floppy emu is. That would be the world's lousiest PC boot device. called Not Gonna Boot with a floppy emu. Alright, let me, alright. And now you all are going to see that I am going to have to use Find My to find my GoTech. Oh, it is saying that it is with me right now. Hold, please. Oh. Oh, there it is. Unfortunately, it's like just close enough. It doesn't tell me that. Yes, the good thing is the GoTech. Oh, let me put that back in my pocket so I don't accidentally show that screen on the web. The AirTag I put in the GoTech was just. Oh, I knocked over a computer case lid that I lousily set beside me. Alright, let's do this. So, as I was trying to say before I knocked something over, and it made a loud thud, the speaker in the AirTag is just high-pitched enough I was able to hear it over the fan running. Or I should say fans running. Oh, that's annoying. There's a key pin in this floppy cable. Oh, lovely. Alright, well, I've got ways of fixing that. Alright. Hold please while I grab a floppy cable that does not have a key pin in it. And will I set the case top back upright? Alright. That one. Fuzzy cable. There we go. Floppy cable, no keys. Alright. Capcom says I figured out how to make PC disk images work in the floppy emu when using a Mac with a PC compatibility card. That sounds absolutely painful. There we go. Floppy emu. Somewhere I've got a compact flash card with bootable DOS on it. I don't know where that is. Instead, we'll just see if we boot. Well, we are booting into Windows, or well, booting into DOS. All right, well that worked. So, all right, so let's boot this. I'm also thinking from a label that's on the computer, this may auto detect hard drives. So I'm hoping that maybe if we put a hard drive in it, it will just auto detect it. I would almost be curious enough to stick a Caviar 20. Let me look up a Caviar 2850. Oh, this test will be done before we know it. Oh, that is an 853 megabyte disk. This computer may actually have a BIOS that may support larger than 512 meg hard drives. So I'm peering over at my stash over beside me. I am somewhat tempted to plunk a hard drive in here and see if it'll auto detect it. All right, let me see if I've got something that's around the gigabyte mark. And then that will see if it detects it, and then that'll finish our exploration. We'll get to the Mac. Okay. I'll have to get some hard drives that are between 512 and 1 gigabyte in size. My coworker gave me a PC, high socket wrench. That's how we got here to a MIM test. All right, I have a 214 megabyte hard drive, and it may have DOS installed on it, so we may put it in, and it might just boot. Yeah, it was a former healthcare PC, which is why the hard drive was removed. I think that's also why I'm not sure if it... I'm hoping it will just boot from a hard drive and detect it if I put one in, because the BIOS is locked out. I can't get into setup. Either it's using some weird key combination that I'll have to figure out, or there is no key combination. Either being everything is set to auto-detect, or there was a setup disk, even though it is a 486 system. It is also possible that I might be able to install another BIOS in it. There may be a motherboard out there that's close enough that I might be able to use its BIOS. Especially if there's a Mr. BIOS. Alright, so I do see that the RetroWeb has a number of motherboards with this chipset that do have archived BIOSes. And it would probably be a matter of probably going through all the listings and checking if any of them had the same I/O controller chips. Or looking to see if any of them are Mr. BIOSes, because those are usually a bit more generic. Although those can also still have support for specific I/O controller chips. Yeah, there's 7 pages of motherboard, so we will not be able to practically search for that tonight. Yep, I don't know that there's a Mr. BIOS. While we wait for MIM test to finish, I do have the... Mr. BIOS archive spreadsheet handy on my phone. So let's see. So this is the... Oh, no. This chipset's not even in the spreadsheet. Alright. So there's probably not a Mr. BIOS. Beborg's asking, is the BIOS chip removable? I believe it is, but it is it's underneath part of the case. So I'm not going to try to remove it tonight, but it did appear to be socketed. It is also possible that if I post the BIOS to a forum or two, that sometimes people that are smarter about what BIOSes do might recognize which BIOS it's based off of, and might even recognize the code that is bypassing the key check to get into setup, for example. Or they might, or, you know, oh, that's right. I broke the ZIF socket for my chip reader. Well, I've got another chip reader. Oh, that's right. Well, and hardware hackers asking, is there a Ms. BIOS? It was Ms. DOS. Oh, there we go. One pass of the memory test. Excellent. All right. I just want to see if... All right, so that's my original floppy cable. I'll keep that with the system. All right, so I think... Yep. There we go. All right, so there we go. It's a Seagate hard drive. 214 megabytes. I think it might have Miss DOS on it. Maybe. I'm pretty sure the drive works. I think it may have DOS installed on it. Oh, but I do probably need to remove the... Oh. Oh, but the hard drive may be old enough that it doesn't auto-detect. Alright. I bet that hard drive didn't auto-detect. Alright, let me... Okay, I just had this creative idea. Alright, let me go grab a... Hold on, there was a hard drive that I just remembered about. I'm trying to remember if I put it somewhere. Like, sane? Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I just realized I've got another hard drive. I don't normally use it because it has bad sectors, but I think it may actually auto-detect. It's a Western Digital Caviar. And it may have DOS on it. No, that did not auto-detect. But it did spin up. Okay, let me go grab a drive that I know will auto-detect. However, it may be too big for the computer, but it at least will auto-detect. Okay, this one has more bad sectors than that drive I just tried to use. But I think it still works. No! Ah, I think it spun up. All right, I'm just going to start. I figured it out. Night, Francois. It's Control Alt Escape, but you have to wait until it tries to boot from the disk. That's embarrassing. Also, it looks like the clock is running slow, but all right. Well, let's set this to auto. And Sadmax says, who thought that was a good idea? Yeah, Control Escape does not work here. Okay, so this hard drive that was in one of my Packard Bells that I thought might actually work. It does appear as if the drive might have finally died. So, luckily, I replaced that hard drive in that particular Packard Bell before it died. So that Packard Bell still has its original tattoo. And if you've never owned a Packard Bell, basically the tattoo is hidden data that has the production data for the drive, and the software restore disks look for that data to know that they belong on the computer. There we go. There's that 700 megabyte hard drive. Not much on it, but yeah, I'll toss the bad hard drive because there's no use me keeping it now. It's dead. Let me go grab that 200 megabyte hard drive. I think it actually might have my usual suite of tools on it. Also, I might be able to copy said tools to this other drive if they're not on here. This Seagate drive is too old for my USB to IDE adapter. It may be too old to auto detect. All right, let me see if I can. That Seagate drive that's dead is. Okay. I thought I had DOS on it. Here, let me try something here real quick. Let me see if I can find my USB to IDE adapter. Mm, no. I see the power adapter. Alright, I don't know what I did with the adapter. It's hiding. Anyways. No. Not it. Oh, wait. Is that it? No, that's not it. Alright, I guess we'll have to run benchmarks on this later because I don't see my USB to IDE adapter. Alright, I don't know where it is. Alright, so I guess the, oh, please. Got my seat tangled up with a Apple mouse. Alright. Okay. I was going to copy my benchmarks onto that 700 megabyte hard drive, but I do not know where my adapter is. This 200 megabyte hard drive does not work with that adapter. It does not. This computer was able to auto detect it, but the USB adapter does not auto detect it. Probably something to do with the this BIOS, and PC BIOSes of the era probably have code for coping with a small drive that possibly doesn't always auto detect correctly. But the USB adapter is probably assuming that you're trying to use a drive that auto detects the standard way. I'm trying to get this computer off my bench, but I have managed to tangle so many things. It is not even funny. Alright. So, it is the ALR Express 486. The healthcare PC that my coworker gave me. I've already logged something. Oh, I think it looks like I disconnected and reconnected. That's weird. All right. 4 megabytes of RAM, 486 DX266, Cirrus Logic graphics, 1 ISA slot, and 3 PCI slots. CMOS coin cell battery. weird power supply format. In fact, this might only be like a 130 watt power supply. So not going to be using this for anything very big, but I did notice one thing about the BIOS. It looks like it supports CD-ROM drives. So I can probably put a CD-ROM drive in this computer. In fact, I might even try my AMD upgrade. And we might try upgrading the cache in it to 256K a cache and upgrading the memory. Because actually, this could be a nice little 486, maybe 5x86 133 system. Got a voltage regulator, but I bet it, I don't know if it's adjustable. If it is adjustable, I don't know what the jumper settings are, because the guide on the thing only says CPU type, it doesn't say voltage. So I may have to look into that. But yeah, this could be a neat little system. And I guess the one good thing is that key lock on the side of the case only holds the lid closed. It wasn't an actual key lock. So what? Oh, actually, that's a nice. I think it's got a fan header on the computer. That could be handy. That could be very handy. And there is one ISA slot, so I can put a sound card in here. Although, that is the only ISA slot. But that's probably about the only thing I'd put in here. So yeah, maybe put a CD-ROM drive in here. A sound card. Upgrade the VRAM. Upgrade the cache. Upgrade the RAM. And I don't know. Maybe either put a 5x86 133 in it. Or maybe I can manage a Pentium Overdrive 83. One or the other. That could be pretty cool. So anyways, former healthcare computer from my coworker. And it's the ALR Express XP2, I think's the model number. I can't find the roll of tape that I'm looking for because I took it to the swap meet and it's probably upstairs. Oh well. I was going to leave a note on this computer to remind me that the setup is Control-Alt-Escape. All right, well, here's what I'll do instead. I remembered to bring my markers back downstairs, but there we go. In case I forget. BIOS setup. Control-Alt-Escape after it starts to boot. Maybe the weird timing and keys were to... Maybe it was to make it more obscure to get into setup. In case this PC was in a patient room or something. Yeah, because we will forget that, as Sadamax says. Yes, if I don't leave the note, we will forget that. Now I've left a note. We will not forget that. Because I think this computer does deserve... It deserves something to fill that gap. I'm thinking CD-ROM drive. Well, I guess that asset tag is gone. But yeah, cool. So there we go. That is a cool little PC. And maybe we can find a few modest upgrades for it, because it does have a rather small power supply, so won't get too crazy with it. But I think this will make a nice little machine, because there are some configurations that I'd kind of like to have, maybe like a reference system on hand, and a desktop form factor would be great for that because it doesn't take up much space. But you all came here for something else, so let me go grab the first one. And these are in no particular order. Bubble wrap. And we have, from the estate sale, you know, I don't think that PowerMacs were designed to set like that. As you probably figured by the preview I tried to give you, we have a Quicksilver. The Quicksilver can be identified by the fact that it has two drive bays that look like that. And I have to say, this is not the first Quicksilver I've owned, but it is the only one I currently own. Thomas Armstrong says, Fast Mercury. All right. I think I also know that this estate sale might have been going on a while, because underneath the $20 sticker, I believe is one that says probably $30. So this may not be the first weekend for that estate sale. Also, the gentleman that was running it told me he has other computers. So I've got his card. I'll email him when I get a chance. And that may lead to some interesting computers in the future. But for now, we have a PowerMac G4s 733 megahertz. And there's the original specs. We'll have to see if that matches. I do know that in the historical Macs I've owned, I did own a digital audio 733 megahertz. And I very much would like to have one again, but those are very hard to find these days. I think that may be because the digital audio Macs may have only been sold for a couple months before the Quicksilvers came out. I don't know. So if you were ever wondering if there was something you could donate to the channel that I would very much enjoy, it would be a digital audio 733 megahertz, although I have a feeling this may be basically the same thing, just in different trade dress. And that might just have to be okay, because it does have the same ports. There's our headphone port, there's our digital audio port, we have a modem, we have gigabit Ethernet, 2 FireWire, 2 USB, and a video card. I don't remember which one this is right offhand. Oh, hi Bruce, welcome! Oh, Thomas Armstrong says, that's a good price. Geoham says, should have held out for $10. Oh, I did not pay $20. I paid $17.50. I got 2 for $35. Yeah, maybe I should have held out for 10, but I guess I was enamored by the fact that there were actually 2 G4s at the estate sale, not the 0 anything worth it that I usually find. So yeah, I might have, he might have called my bluff. Bruce is asking, yeah, this looks like a Quest server. It is. Any dual processor units? I think the next one we're going to look at is a dual processor. This one, though, is just a single processor. All right. So I am zoomed out, I think, as far as I can. So I do have 2 cell phones downstairs with me for droid camming without killing the battery in one phone. All right, and we have, first of all, we have a lithium battery, which we are going to go ahead and remove this because, well, it is probably an old battery. Actually, you know, this battery may not be as old as I thought it was. This battery might actually be from 2011. Or I'm looking at something upside down. All right. So, this is a Saft brand LS14250 battery. Actually, I think someone's replaced the battery. I think this might be a battery from 2006. Because there's the date code, 0617. So, yeah, I think someone might have been using this computer well into the aughts, or whatever they're calling the 2000s. I guess I can't blame them. I was rocking a G4 for longer than I sometimes like to admit to, because the G5s were a train wreck, and some of the, the early Intel ones. Bruce says, we're zoomed in close enough to see there's no airport card. Yeah, there's no airport card. That is for sure. Anyways, all right. We do, though, because we are nerds and we like to know if there's battery voltage. We will measure the battery. And, oh, hold on. That's on AC mode. Oh, wait. We still have 3.6 volts on this battery. Wow, I was not expecting that. 3.6 volts. All right, well, I'm not going to trust this battery, though, because of how old it is, but anyways. Thomas says, got a great deal on some G4 Audios, 2 machines for $80. One had a zip and one had a DVD-RW. Both had SCSI cards. Nice. All right, so let's take another, I guess a continued tour. So we do not have a zip drive in this computer. And looking at the IDE cable that you can't see, I don't think it ever had one because the cable does not look like it was ever into that position. Although there's some weird tape there. So maybe it did have a zip drive at one point. I don't know. But it doesn't have a zip bezel, so maybe it didn't. Yeah, the battery is tested good. I'm not going to leave it in the machine, but it tested good. There's no hard drive in this system, so we'll have to... Well, we'll be able to see if it powers up, but we won't be able to boot it unless I install OS. Alright, we've got... We do have at least this cable here. And the hard drive bracket is present. So we'll be able to install one, no problem. Alright. Continuing our tour. Yeah, it'll probably... Well, I probably won't put a compact flash IDE in it, even though it would probably work. Because Mac OS X would very much wear out the compact flash card fairly quickly. I'll probably use a solid state drive. Oh yeah, that's right. Apple did put a... I have a couple of... Well, alright. RIP AGP video card tab. Totally broke. Oh well. And we broke that tab for what is probably going to be NVIDIA. Let me see if I can read what the label says. This is probably the original video card. NV11 card. Yeah, it says NVIDIA here, model number I can't really read. Okay, it's an NVIDIA card. It's probably the original one. Yeah, KR says, I think that green piece is like a collar around the AGP slot. You might be able to 3D print a new one if you really want it. No, I don't really want it. I just am kind of disappointed that I managed to brute strength it off, but I probably shouldn't be surprised. In fact, I shouldn't be surprised at all when vintage plastic breaks. Okay, we have 128 megabytes of PC-133 memory. This might be the original memory stick, although I sure thought Apple was using... Oh no, actually I think the system may be 133 megahertz frontside bus. It's an AC Bell power supply. And then we have a 512 megabyte stick of RAM that is incredibly dusty because it was probably beside the CPU fan. So it looks like we have 640 megabytes of RAM. Assuming it all works. Hardware Hacker says, I broke a RAM clip in my SE30. 3D printed ROM holder works to hold the RAM in place nicely. Nice. Yes, it does go to 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. Kind of weird, because some of the earlier G4s can actually take 2 gigabytes of RAM. And then Apple, I think for the digital audio and the Quicksilvers, only put 3 DIMM slots in them, so they can take 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. Although that's all that Mac OS 9 can support anyways, so that may not be a big deal. But then for the mirror drive doors, I think they went back to 4 DIMM slots. Hi, Joe. Welcome. So I couldn't tell you why Apple did that. I'm sure they had reasons. I don't know if their reasons were necessarily good. But yeah. See, yeah, I could put 1.5 gigs of RAM in here. If it works. All right. All right. We got power. Well, if I can, we got video. Let me zoom out. Oh, I am zoomed out. All right, 3, 2, 1. I did not hear a chime. But I think I do remember the estate seller mentioning something about a broken speaker on one of them. So I have a feeling the speaker's broken on this one. We have a flashing question mark folder because there's no hard drive in it. Hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. Mike's asking, did you put one of those Pico power supplies on Monday into the 2SI, or did I imagine it? Yes, I did. I did put one in it. So we have one Quicksilver that appears to be alive, but not with the sound of music. The Macs are alive without the sound of music. So I guess I'm going to put on my list of things to buy a Quicksilver speaker. Joe has been insanely busy tonight. Well, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's or I guess an indifferent thing. I guess it's a good thing if it's paying the bills, indifferent thing if it's house cleaning for guests, because it could be good or bad. I guess it could be a bad thing if it's just silly busy work. Oh, Joe says it's all business related, so it's a good thing. All right. Hard drive is missing. So I will have to purloin a hard drive to put in it. I don't have an Apple hardware test CD burned for it right offhand. I don't even have a keyboard plugged into it right now. So, all right. So far, it looks like it works. I guess I could. Let's see. How are we running on time? Oh, it's only 10:30. Let's see. What size hard drive would feel right at home in a Quicksilver? What did this ship with? Why do I keep trying to read small print without a magnifying glass? Oh, a 40 gigabyte hard drive. I think I have a 40 gigabyte hard drive. And I might know where macOS 10.3 disks are. Uno momento. got a hard drive. Now I'm just trying to see if I can find the install disk. Here we go. I found. All right. Okay, I found a 40 gigabyte hard drive, but I also found sitting on top of one of my other PowerMacs I found a 60 or it's a 6 gigabyte hard drive, but it's marked as having macOS 922 on it. So, how about, just to see if this will boot anything, let's just plug this 6 gigabyte hard drive in, because this system should be able to boot macOS 9. And if it's 922, it should be able to boot it. Even if it's a retail disk, it should be able to boot it. All right, so there's that. Plug in power. Let me plug in this USB keyboard so I'll at least be able to do something. All right, 3, 2, 1. If I can hit the button, there we go. Oh, hold on. It might not be totally happy with me because I had keys laying on the keyboard. But there we go. We got a happy Mac. Oh, where have we seen this before? Well, oh, maybe I didn't plug the mouse in all the way? Oh, there we go. Oh, yippee. Alright, so we had a memory test failure. Alright, I don't know if you all can read that, because I sure can't. Monitors. There we go, that's better. Alright, now everyone can read it. It boots, and it sees 128 megabytes of RAM. Because that other stick of RAM is not compatible. That's weird. Do I have any? Nope, this is just a clean install. I don't have any diagnostics on here. I'll try cleaning it, Thomas, but it is a no-name brand DIMM, and it is quite possible that the no-name brand DIMM has failed due to the passage of time. Because it's got that, it's that same brand of RAM that we had trouble with last week in that PowerMac G4 I picked up on a marketplace deal. Same brand. I had trouble with the stick of RAM. There was that brand on that machine, too. Alright, it is possible, though, that we've got dirty contacts. Alright, so I sprayed some contact cleaner in the slot. I will insert and remove it a couple times. Thomas Armstrong says, that is #1 brand, very rare. Alright. Oh. Okay, so much for the bad speaker theory. Oh, maybe the DIMM slot was dirty. Maybe that'll maybe that causes no sound. It detects a memory error. Okay, well that's good. I don't have to buy a Quicksilver speaker on eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret. Nope, nothing's stuck in the headphone jack. I reseated the RAM and cleaned the contacts. That's all I did, and now I have sound. And I bet I have the full amount of RAM, too. And it would not surprise me if it goes to... There we go, 640 megabytes. Yeah, we see the full amount of RAM. Nice. Alright, so let's figure out what we got here. So we do have a PowerMac G4. 733 megahertz. Oh, I should have probably done the about this Mac, and nah, we'll do that in a moment. Get the model number. All right. 640 megabytes of RAM. Well, I was hoping I would see the video card. Devices and volumes. Oh, there's our 6 gigabyte hard drive. Oh, extensions. Okay, maybe macOS 9 System Profiler doesn't show you the video card. There we go. There's our DIMMs. 256K L2 cache. Oh, okay. Maybe that's a macOS 9 System Profiler thing. All right. And we don't have Doom on here. Oh, we got another G4 to look at. Hi, Dave. Welcome. I've got a working Quicksilver, 733 megahertz. It's a 2 for $35 deal in an estate sale. So, Mac number 1 works. I'll have to put a hard drive in it for keeps. Yeah, Thomas says these are great machines for dual booting. Now remember, I had a digital audio 733 megahertz. Now, granted, I bought it used back in the day, but I had one. I enjoyed it. So this is very close, although it looks different, but it's... Quite honestly, there's probably really no difference between this and the digital audio. It's still got gigabit Ethernet. It still has the digital audio port, and it's the same speed. So the only thing this one doesn't have is the zip drive that my digital audio had. So I guess I'll have to find a Quicksilver zip bezel, and then I'll put a zip drive in it. And then, until I can actually find a digital audio 733 at the right price, which is about somewhere between $10 and $40, because let's face it, there's lots of G4s out there. Hi, Rudy, welcome. Running a little calculator demo here to let it have a moment to stretch its legs. Now, I also at some point had a digital audio dual processor system. I didn't have it very long, and it was actually, weirdly enough, after the 733 megahertz. That one's probably an unobtainium machine, because I don't think Apple made very many of them. And it's actually a long story why I even had it, because I think I bought it after I had a G5. Maybe I bought it while I was having G5 trouble. That might be it. That might be it. I might have bought it as a backup while I was having trouble with my G5 back in the day. That's I'll have to go back and look at my emails to see if I can figure out when I bought it and when I sold it. But I also, at some point, very briefly had a dual 1.42 gigahertz system, but I don't remember exactly how long I had that system. No, of course I don't. I don't have any of my original G4s now of the actual original systems. All right, kind of looks like this machine is working, and while I remember running Mac OS 10, probably been 10.2 on the 733 megahertz computer. Rudy's asking, is this running on a Trident card? No, it's an NVIDIA GeForce. I think it ran through the demo. All right. Very nice. Hi, Tom Barber. Welcome. Tom Barber says, Justin, demos graphing calculator Morgan. Yeah. All right. So, the Quicksilver works. I managed to fix its memory problem. It just needed contact cleaner. And I'll need to put a hard drive in it for keeps, but at least I had this Mac OS 9 drive here to borrow for testing. So, that's the Quicksilver. It was two for $30 or $35. And it's in really good shape too. A little bit of dust outside the CPU port, but I think the seller might have vacuumed it before setting it out at the estate sale. Oh, Tom Barber left a link. A good story about the history of the Mac graphing calculator worth a read. All right. I will save that for later reading. All right. So very nice. Quicksilver 733 megahertz. Feels like it'll make a fairly nice Mac OS 9 system. Possibly might even load Mac OS 10.2 on it for old school, for old time's sake, with all the updates. 10.3 was way better, but kind of got to make it feel like what I had back in the day. Actually, no, I think maybe I was running 10.3 on it. I'm trying to remember when I had that. Because that's right. I had... Yeah, don't assume that I necessarily had these computers in chronological order when I owned them back in the day, because I did some really weird computer swapping back in the day as I was navigating some unreliable Macs that I had. All right, let's go look at the other one. So this one, oh, I really need to pick up the bubble wrap that I've managed to So you might notice that the top of the computer looks the same color, but this is not a Quicksilver. This one is I would call it a mirror drive doors, but it sure looks like there's an awful lot of fingerprints on that mirror. I'm going to have to clean that, but we have a mirror drive doors G4. That was the second one in my 2 for $35 deal. Also, it also has a $20 price tag and another one under it that I have a feeling said $30 or $40. All right. So this is just a mirror drive doors and not a FireWire 800. But it does have a video adapter on it, which is kind of nice. So this one is a dual processor 867 megahertz. It originally shipped with 256 megabytes of PC100 SD-RAM, which I believe this is the low spec mirror drive doors. And NVIDIA GeForce 4MX. Overall, it is in decent shape. I have a feeling this is probably the original video card. Because I know at this point Apple had switched from VGA to DVI for the second video port. All right. Without further ado, all right, the first thing that you can't see is that there is a hard drive in this computer. It is a 60 gigabyte Seagate Barracuda with an Apple logo on it, so I think it might be the original hard drive. First thing you probably did notice, though, was this battery. So this battery has a date of August 2002 on it. And I'm thinking this battery's probably going to be dead. And we have half a volt on it. So I think that tells me that the Quicksilver, someone changed the battery at some point. I'm kind of wondering if maybe in a weird turn of events, the Quicksilver was in use longer than this mirror drive door. But we do have, I believe, an NVIDIA video card here. Probably is the PowerMac. We have one memory module. It probably is going to be the original one. It is dustier inside. I think we do have one optical drive. It is an AC Bell power supply. I think I'm just gonna go for it. I think the seller told me one of these booted into some old version of Mac OS. I did not ask for an elaboration of what old version. I figured I would leave some surprises for myself. So I'm fairly sure that since this one has a hard drive in it, it's probably the one that he had to boot into some old version of Mac OS, although when, it's anyone's guess. All right. We got power. 3, 2, 1. Took me All right, someone had the volume turned way up. Or the speaker's going bad one. All right, we got some old version of Mac OS. KR says deep dish chime. Yeah. Is this 10.2? Oh, this totally feels like 10. Oh, no, Spotlight. It's probably 10.3. Your keyboard cannot be identified and will not be usable until it is identified. All right. Press the key immediately to the right of the shift key on the left side. All right. Ha! It identified it. Yeah. For anyone wondering why in the world it's detecting an ISO European keyboard and it only took one key press, spoiler alert. It is a European keyboard. I couldn't see the keyboard go to waste. It was so clean. It's a USB keyboard. It was really clean and it worked. So I'm like, well, I can't, even though a European keyboard will drive me nuts as to where the slashes are, the keyboard looks too nice to let it go to e-waste. Oh, it's 10.4, 10.4.11. It's up to date. Dual 8.67 megahertz. Dual 867 megahertz. I said that really weird. 1 megabyte L3 cache per processor. 256 megs of RAM. Someone saw that it has Sprint on it. Actually, yeah, this is... Oh, there we go. The NVIDIA GeForce 4MX. Quartz Extreme supported. Yes! Yep, PC 1... oh, it's DDR. PC 2100. Nice. Oh, that's right. That's right. The mirror drive doors use DDR memory. Although, from what I've read, they didn't actually use DDR memory. You're probably wondering, what does Justin mean by that? That sounds weird. Well, they used DDR memory, but I don't think the memory controller's actually making use of the full benefits of DDR memory. For some reason, I thought I read a technical document somewhere that it's like using basically effectively half the clock. I don't know. The G4 processor doesn't actually have a DDR memory interface, so I think it basically... I don't know. The way that the technical description I read was written was really weird. I think basically what it's doing is the memory controller's reading it. It has to... I mean, it's reading it as DDR memory, but it basically has to slow it down for the processor to non-DDR. But yeah, Thomas Armstrong says those machines were a good deal. Yes. Tucker Wrench says could be worse. On one business trip, I was assigned a ThinkPad with a Swiss keyboard and a German key map, and I was typing in English. Oh, okay, that could get really confusing really quickly. Yeah. All right. I might actually have some RAM for this computer. I'm trying to look to see if I see where the RAM I grabbed from RetroTech Chris is. Because the thing is, I picked this computer up Saturday, so when Chris gave me a box of memory to pick a few modules from, I think I did grab some DDR modules because I already had this machine. So I would have known to possibly grab some, but I don't see where I stuck the memory, so that's embarrassing. Oh, there it is. So let's see. This is It said DDR. Let's see. DDR PC 2100. That's going to be. Is that 266? All right. I know it's not DDR 400 because that's 3200. Oh, that's PC. That's PC 100. Okay, maybe I. DDR. Okay, maybe I didn't grab exactly what I thought I did, but I may have some RAM for this machine. I'll go look in my RAM box. I think it is. I think I am looking for DDR 266. The original DDR. Oh, maybe it might be DDR 200. Let me. PC 2100 is. I can type. Oh, it's 266. Yeah, because it's 133 megahertz frontside bus, so it is DDR 266. Yep, Jesse says 266 is 2100. All right, I may actually have some in my RAM box. We'll take a look at that in a moment. All right, so let's. Oh, Sprint. Yeah. I'm going to do one thing here. Just momentarily. I'm going to make sure there's nothing like that's going to jump out as documents. Okay. So at least on the OS X drive, okay, there's nothing personal in the root directory. All right. On Mac OS 9, there's nothing personal in the root directory. All right. So I used Graphing Calculator to test the computer in OS 9, the other computer in OS 9. So how about we'll look at a few of these. You know, too bad there's not a demo. The OS 9 one had a demo mode, which was pretty cool. All right, no demo mode. All right, examples. All right, contours. One of these is my favorite because it looks pretty. Yeah, that one looks pretty nice. Lawrence is a tractor. Primitives. Yeah, I think this one's one I always enjoy. The red, the green, and the blue. I think it's toroids might be my. Yeah, for some reason I'm always fascinated by that one, the toroid. Yeah, no, I've got all these running, so I think they're all like. Although the Taurus knot looks pretty cool. And vector field. Yeah, I think they're all running, although I think the one in the foreground gets the most processing power. There we go. Yeah, I think some of those would be way smoother if I just maybe had one open. See, that is really smooth. Jesse says, this contour looks more interesting than my Ford contour. Rudy says, fancy pants. Yeah, I know. Yep, there we go. That's prettier than a Ford contour right there. All right, all right, it passes the grapher test. Oh, I think this might still have some of the bundled software installed. Like Art Director's Toolkit 3, this was one of the bundled applications on the mirror drive door. Yeah, because I remember. So yeah, when you bought a mirror drive door, there were actually a couple neat utilities installed. So Art Director's Toolkit was one of them that was bundled. AppleWorks 6, I believe, was bundled. Fact Stuff X might have been included if you bought the modem. Oh, there we go. Graphic converter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the bundled version right here. Yep. 4.4 bundle. Copies registered to Apple Bundle customers. Oh, yeah. This is the software. This was the good stuff back then. Actually, pretty useful now, even. Graphic converter. I have no idea why it gives you a nag screen, because this is like a bundle version. Probably because they want you to pay for the latest version. But yeah, graphic converter. That was pretty cool utility. It came with the Mac. Yeah, 2 for 2 scored, Dave says. Yeah, very nice. Let me see. Oh, I believe you also did get. Oh, is this a DVD drive in this Mac? I didn't even look. Oh no, it's just a CD writer. Okay. Oh wait, reads DVDs. Yes. Oh, okay. It's a combo drive. DVD reader, CD burner. Excellent. I approve. But I think iDVD 2 probably came with this Mac. Looking at the date on it, that makes sense. It does look like though they bought the iLife suite later, but I think iDVD might have come with the Mac, given the date on the folder. July 18th, 20. Or that might have been installed later. Oh yeah, here we go. A couple other apps that came with the mirror drive door. OmniGraffle and Omni Outliner. Those were bundled apps. I think Snaps Pro X was bundled. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was bundled. I think it was a screenshot utility. Pixel Enhance. I don't remember if that was bundled, but it might have been. Oh, if you wonder why my mouse keeps going crazy, I don't think it likes my stainless steel workbench. Oh, maybe this was bundled. I don't remember it being bundled. But yeah, there we go. That's a blast from the past, just looking at the bundled software. And it looks like whoever had this... Oh, that's right. The developer tools were installed, but... Oh. The developer tools are not installed. Oh, well. Microsoft Office X, I probably shouldn't be surprised. All right, good night, Rudy. Glad you could join us. Yeah, actually, KR, it was, so, I mean, Apple was lambasting PC manufacturers for all their shovelware that got bundled with it. And, I mean, Apple had bundled software, but I have to say, I would consider it that the couple of applications they bundled were actually tasteful. And it's not like they ran a bunch of stuff on startup. I mean, if you didn't want to run it, you didn't run it. It didn't have anything active in the background. And actually, a lot of those utilities, okay, maybe they weren't all, maybe not, I mean, maybe there's some people that found them all useful, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people like me found some of them useful and some of them were, this looks like a nice app, but I don't have a use for it. Because I remember using Graphic Converter like all the time. And it was cool because it came with the Mac. Yeah, KR says, yeah, but it's not shovelware. Ha ha ha. Those seem legitimately useful. Unlike a free McAfee trial. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Now, this is the interesting thing. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to start up with this one here. Actually, we'll try them both. All right, we'll start with this one. Jesse says it's not like Dell and HP where they absolutely overloaded their computers with garbage. Yeah. Yeah, basically Apple gave you their Works suite. A image converter utility, I think OmniGraffle was a graph making utility or flowchart making utility. The screenshot utility, and a couple other utilities. I mean, they're all quite useful utilities for certain people. So I could definitely say that Apple still, even though they bundled a few apps, they were bundling useful stuff. There we go. We booted into macOS 9. This is totally capable. And it looks like they were running on this other system drive. They had a couple of Adobe apps. Oh, interesting. Oh, I'm wondering if this macOS 9 folder... Interesting. I think I might know why there's a second macOS 9 install. I think this install of macOS 9 might be borked. I don't see the control panel that I need to run to set a boot disk. All right, I'm going to hope that maybe it might let me run the control panel from this other one here. No, okay. hold on. I know how to fix this. Restart. Hold down Option. Or well, it's the Alt key on this keyboard. Yeah, it might have been for the classic environment. I may have not realized it wasn't a full install. There we go. Okay. Option key for the win. Alright, I'm pretty sure if I boot from here, it'll try to boot the macOS 9 install that's bad. So as soon as it finishes processing, I will boot this other drive, which is the other OS 9 install, and I believe this install is complete. And then we'll be able to use the, we'll be able to select the correct system to boot from. Well, I guess the thing is, it is bootable because basically when you run Classic, it does start up macOS 9, but I guess it's not enough of it that you would really want to use it. Although in reality, I think if you were running the factory install of OS 9, I think it would have been a complete install of OS 9 so that you could dual boot. But I'm wondering if maybe that install was just corrupted. We'll, there we go. I mean, it's macOS 9. There we go. Yep, we'll be able to get back into OS 10 because there's the startup disks. Control panel. That's the one that I was missing and couldn't pick. There we go. Yep, we'll be able to get back into OS 10. See, there we go. The graphic calculator works. Yeah, it had some weird extensions. Hey, but the graphic calculator works on this install. All right, this is really... Yeah, I think I got a good deal on my estate sale finds. 2 working Macs. And even though I don't have the restore disks for this Mac, I can probably tactfully remove any personal data from it. Because at least in macOS 10, I can secure erase the personal data. Of course, I could probably find restore disks for it fairly easily. Because at least the one good thing about the mirror drive door is, since I used to own a mirror drive door, I think I'll know which restore disk to go look for. Because I used to own one, so I kind of know what the disks should be. Yeah, Thomas says no regrets. Yeah, no regrets. I'm glad I went to the estate sale, because the thing is, I had simply gone to the hardware store for batteries. Which, actually, before I forget, I need to put 2 of these batteries in my pocket, so I remember to go put them in one of my Fire Stick remotes. Actually, I should probably just take the AAA batteries upstairs, because I have nothing down here that uses AAA batteries. So, actually, I will take those upstairs with me. Yeah, I went to get AA and AAA batteries. because I wanted to try to see what would happen if I powered up my Game Boy Color with batteries in it. Spoiler alert, it did exactly what the thrift store owner told me it would do. Not run on batteries. So, yeah, that was rather anticlimactic. I was kind of secretly hoping that maybe I would find that it did work and maybe his batteries were just too low for the voltage to get through the corrosion, but oh, aloha, Quicksilver AUS. Oh, and you missed the actual Quicksilver I had to test, because this is actually G4 number 2. But this is an 867 megahertz dual processor mirror drive door G4. And it's actually, although I think in macOS 9 it's only using one processor. But yeah, it actually is pretty snappy on macOS 10. Yeah, I figured you would like the Quicksilvers. Yeah, it was a Quicksilver 733 megahertz. So, okay, I think one of the fans in this computer needs a bit of a clean. But all right, let's go back into macOS 10. Yeah, I'm gonna need to lubricate the bearings of a fan in this computer, but quite honestly, if that's like, if that and a good cleaning with some Simple Green is all the maintenance I really need to do to it. Oh, it's nice that we have Norton File Saver. This is like the second Mac in like 2 weeks that I've had that had semantic utilities running on it. This is weird. I'll let it scan the drives for errors. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe I should run disk utility in macOS 10. Anyways, yeah, I'll see if I can't dig up the restore disks for this computer, because it would be nice to have a fresh install and have the bundled applications. So think I'm trying to think. I have another mirror drive door. I think it's a dual 1 gigahertz. I picked it up like 2 years ago on Marketplace for, I want to say that one might have cost me $30. I kind of like this one better though, I have to say. Maybe because it was cheaper. Maybe because it's slightly cleaner. On the outside. And then I've got a FireWire 800. Yeah, it's a 1.25 gigahertz dual processor, FireWire 800. So that one I've got configured like I had my original mirror drive door. So I have as close as I can. So I have a Radeon 9700 Pro in it. And before you get jealous, don't worry. It's a PC card. It's a PC video card that I flashed with the Mac BIOS because the actual 9700 Pro from Apple is nearly unobtainium. When they show up on eBay, they go quick. Yeah, I'll have to look into some solid state drives probably. Either from DOS Dude or the thing is, I have a number of solid state drives that are small enough that it would work in this Mac. I just need an IDE to SATA adapter, so. But DOS Dude 1's like, well, actually, he's far enough away, I'd probably still have him ship them. Unless I was headed that way anyways. But yeah, so my FireWire 800 that I have, I've got, yeah, I have it configured as close as I can to my original one. So I did have, no, now my original FireWire 800, it actually came with a Radeon 9000, but I had upgraded it at some point when I originally had it to a 9700 Pro. And yes, I bought that card on eBay, place where I buy the things I'll later regret. Although, since that card was like closer to new, it was okay. I didn't have any trouble with it. But yeah, you can't find those cards nowadays, so I did the next best thing, and I got a PC 9700 card and flashed it with the Mac BIOS. So at least I have the video card, even if it's not the actual one. And Jesse says, I have 64 gigabyte NVMe drives for days. Yes. Oh, hi, Steve. Steve Chisnall says the 9700 Mac Edition is a holy grail. Yes, it is now. If you've got one, you're probably keeping it because everyone wants it. I'm probably just basically, yeah, basically part of the reason why I'll pick up these mirror drive doors, especially for like 10 or 20 bucks, especially if it's like a yard sale or a, uh-oh. Well, I'm going to have to boot this from a boot disk and run disk first aid because this disk has an error. Oh, well. All right. So I guess I'll have to boot this from a disk and run disk first aid. But yeah, so yeah, someday maybe I just need to do a stream where we look at my mirror my FireWire 800 and because I set it up with a PC video card that's flashed with the Mac BIOS. And it's got 2 gigs of RAM on it. I got a solid state drive. And I want to say that I did manage to get the restore disk. So I've got it factory restored. And then I upgraded it to, I guess it would have been Leopard. Or no, not Leopard doesn't run on G4s. Tiger. It's been a while since I've looked at it, so yeah, someday I will just have to bring that down, even if it's like not the only thing on the stream. Because that one is probably one of the first Macs I got when I got into vintage computing. So I've actually had that longer than I've been live streaming. So that one quite possibly has never been in a live stream. I've not made a video on it, and it's quite possibly never been in a live stream because I've had it long enough that I already had it working before I started live streaming. Steve says, a friend of mine managed to score a WUXGA, and that's 1920 by 1200 LCD panel that fits in the 20-inch iMac G5. Nice. Oh, Jesse says Leopard runs on some G4 systems. Okay, maybe I was thinking of Leopard. No, I'm pretty sure I have Tiger on that computer. Tiger runs a lot better on G4s. Leopard runs better on G5s, although it will run on the later G4s. And I'm pretty sure when I had my Firewire 800 originally, I'm pretty sure I had Leopard on it, but it definitely was not feeling like a fast cat at that point. So yeah, someday I'll have to bring that computer and show it on a stream because it's never had a live stream appearance. Yeah, Jesse says Tiger's a better choice for G4. Steve says, Tiger, Tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. I have a feeling those are song lyrics that just completely escaped me. Anyways, I think my estate sale G4s were a great deal. So I am happy with what I got. And I don't know what I'll do with them, but probably what I'll do with them is I will probably set them up with, well, okay, for the Quicksilver, I'm probably going to set it up like I would have had my digital audio 733, because it's the closest I've managed to come to that computer. So I'll probably will install Leopard on it, probably put 1.5 gigs of RAM in it, because I'm pretty sure I would have had it upgraded to the max RAM when I had it, because, I mean, the early 2000s, RAM was cheap. Thomas says they play Doom great. Yes, they do. Now, I don't remember what video card I would have had in it, but, now I'll work on trying to remember what video card I might have had in it. Maybe at that point I might have put a Radeon 9000 Pro in that digital audio, because that's like one of the fastest cards that you can get for Mac OS 9. Because I think the Radeon 9000 Pro has Mac OS 9 drivers. Yes, I know there's the 4200 Ti that's probably the fastest for Mac OS 9. But even back then, it was kind of pricey. Nowadays, it's like uber pricey. Thomas says, my G4 audio had some kind of high-end ATI. Yeah. Steve says, great upgrade to Descent. Yep. Thomas says, the Adaptec SCSI cards are good. Steve says, and there's D2X XL, which was available for PowerPC Mac OS X. Quicksilver AUS says, interesting, got a spare digital audio logic board, but no CPU. Steve says, Descent is a better game than Doom. Yeah, Descent was, yeah. Oh, there is something else that I could, you're mentioning SCSI cards. So, alright. Hopefully I don't lose that box. But, I picked this up in, Chantilly a couple months ago. It's an Adaptec SCSI card. And if you'll note, it's got a G3 on the box, because this card is compatible with PC and Mac. And it's got the Mac logo on the back of the box, so it also had a 5-year warranty. Well, gone are those days. I mean, look, 5-year warranty on an expansion card. So it says operating systems, tech spec, macOS 8.5 or above. And looking to see if it said, oh yeah, just PCI expansion slot. I was looking to see if it maybe said which Mac it. Oh, cool! This is the instruction guide for Mac. That is very good. All right, looking at the drawings in this manual, this maybe was really targeted for the beige PowerMacs. Although it does have a G3 on the box. I don't know. We'll have to try this sometime, but not tonight, because I don't have anything SCSI set up for it. Thomas Armstrong says, cool, it makes using Blue SCSI great for file transfer for OS X and 922. Yeah. Quicksilver says you should dump that, put on RetroWeb so people can convert to PC one. Yeah, I'll have to do that. If it's not already done. I mean, I'm hoping the SCSI card that is in this box is the one that's advertised on it, because hold please. You know, there's times when you buy something at a thrift store and you do remember to check the box. But you check the box quick enough to see that you have a 25-pin SCSI port. So either there was 2 SCSI cards in this box, and I've removed the Adaptec one, and it's like sitting on my workbench somewhere, or I forgot to pull the card out and actually see if it had a PCI card edge on it. Because that is quite clearly a non-bootable 8-bit SCSI card for an HP ScanJet scanner. Yeah, there's not even a ROM on it. No ROM socket. That's embarrassing. I'll have to look on my bench. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to try that SCSI card unless I pulled it out of the box and there's an Adaptec 2906 floating around my bench. But, yeah, it looks like I might have made a slight boo-boo and forgot to pull the card out far enough to see if it had a PCI card edge on it. Well, I guess the, at least I only paid $5 for the box. Or, no. They charged me $10 for it because it was in a box. All right, well, I guess you live, you learn, and Thomas Armstrong says, check the T-Rex. Oh, Thomas also says it's on the desk. Quicksilver says, nose. Yeah, yeah, it probably, well, I don't know where the SCSI card is. Either it's on my desk and there were two SCSI cards in the box, or that was the SCSI card that was in the box, and I did not pull it out far enough to realize the wrong card was in the box. Because I'm pretty sure if I saw that as the only thing in the box, I would have put it back on the shelf. So yeah, that's a regret. All right, yeah, I guess on that disappointing note. All right. Okay, I guess maybe this is as good a point as any to. Thomas is asking, how's the Atari TOS? I haven't done anything with the 1040 ST because I need to figure out how to convert it from using 2 ROMs to 6 ROMs. Because it currently has mask ROMs in it. It's got a 2-chip mask ROM, and I need to use EPROMs because I'm not paying eBay prices for a set of mask ROMs for TOS 1.04. So, but yeah, I think this is where I'm going to draw the stream to an end because we've looked at the Macs, we looked at a PC, and it's 18 minutes till midnight, and there's nothing I can really practically pull out in 18 minutes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and draw the stream to a close. So if you like it when I pick up machines at estate sales and yard sales and garage sales, smash that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I'm going to go live next. Monday is Labor Day. So Monday, I am going to start streaming at 3 p.m. and I'm going to go till probably 11. So I'm not going to go all the way to midnight like I normally do, but I think I'm going to go 3 to 11. Although there probably will be a dinner break in the middle, at least a brief. It may not be I'm going to end the stream and start another break, but there will be at least I would say a midpoint brief interruption for eating something, but otherwise I'm going to go from 3 till 11. And we are going to look at game consoles, because it is, after all, a holiday. So what better thing to do on a holiday is to look at game consoles. So yes, I have a cap kit and new battery contacts for the Game Boy Color, so it will probably be one of the consoles we look at. We will probably also swap my Game Boy into a better case, because we got those items in Monday. Saw the case swap potential on Wheel of Regrets, so we'll probably do that. But I also have that stack of game consoles that I picked up in Harrisonburg at a bowling alley last week. So we're going to go through those to triage them. But I do have another couple game consoles that also need repaired. And it's also possible that I'll get the SNES parts in by Monday, so hopefully we might also be able to try to repair the SNES. So you won't want to miss that. Labor Day game console repairs, 3 to 11. So I hope to see you all there. So turn on those notifications so you know when I go live. And then I'll have many more live streams for the month of September. With that. So, yep. And with that, I'm going to get the stream ending ready. So, glad you all joined me, hung out in the chat. We're cool. Saw these cool machines. Put up with my testing a PC that I got today. Because my coworker gave it to me today. So, I wanted to mainly make sure it didn't have a Varda battery in it. But, of course, I wanted to make sure it worked. So, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you here next time. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.